Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anita Talks History and Genealogy. And today I just want to share some insight that I have, and also the reason that I don't celebrate Christmas, this holiday that was made up and, to so-called celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yeshua. And his name is not even Christ, and there is no Christ mentioned in the Bible. None. He's called Yeshua, Yeshua, and he was a person of color. His lineage came out of Ethiopia, and all of the depictions of him and his mother, the early depictions of him, before the Europeans got a hold of him and gave him blonde hair and blue eyes, or dark hair and light skin, he and his people came out of Ethiopia. So before I get started, hit that like and share, subscribe button. This is how we keep our channel going. And as I said, this is Anita Talks History and Genealogy, so this is a historical topic, and everybody, not everybody, but people have different opinions of it, but there are not a lot of scholars who, there's a lot of followers of Christianity, but there's not a lot of scholars who have scholarly works out there that tell the truth. And you would have to go all the way back to Ethiopia and read that Ethiopian Bible with its 88 chapters. You know what I'm saying? Go back. Look at the depictions of Christ, Yeshua. There was no such word as CHR. There was no R's. And there was no hard sounds like Christ. No, Yeshua. That's why Spanish people call him Jesus. They don't they don't pronounce it the way that the Europeans pronounce it, because Christ was the name given to him by the Greeks. And this was long after his crucifixion, by the Romans. So this is a truth that we're not supposed to talk about, but I believe that we should be talking about him around a holiday that we, many of us celebrate, and then we pass it on to our children to celebrate. And it's more of a pagan holiday than a religious holiday, and it is not even a given that Christ was born on Christmas Day, on the 25th of December, So why is it that there is a Santa Claus on what is supposed to be Yeshua's birthday? Why is it that there's an Easter bunny that's there when it's supposed to be celebrating the resurrection of Yeshua? This is like, why are we just picking up traditions? I know that we picked them up because we didn't know any better during slavery or during colonization. It was brutal. The churches that came here were brutal to the indigenous people, to my ancestors. That is why most of Latin America is Catholic, and the Anglicans, they've got the continental United States. Still a lot of Catholics here, but a lot of Anglos, and the Christian, the so-called Christian church. And so, is it okay to question that, to question the beliefs, to question the people who brought us these so-called religious practices? There's a reason why the founding fathers said that that the United States was, there is free of any one religion. There is no religion that dominates the United States. You can say, oh, there's more Christians here than anything else, but this is not a Christian country. This is a country that is free from religions and religious persecution. And probably because there were so many religions that used Christianity, so-called religious people who used Christianity to slaughter, not only slaughtering indigenous people, slaughtering themselves. They had in Spain, they had a Spanish Inquisition where they were going in and killing people, killing the Moors and the Jews that occupied Spain. This is in the name of Christianity. And I know people want to say, oh no, but that wasn't Christianity. This is my opinion, okay? And it's supposedly still a free society where we can freely express our opinion and our beliefs. And I believe that that this truly did happen. What happened to Joan of Arc? Didn't they burn her at the stakes? That's what they were doing there. These people who brought so-called Christianity to the new world, to their new world. And those Christians came here and began to kill off indigenous people in the name of their God that they were worshiping. And I would not worship any God that tells me or anybody else that it's okay to slaughter women and children, to sell their scalps, to go into countries and rape, rob, plunder, and commit genocide. There is nobody that's going to tell me that the God that I believe in, that I worship, would ever ordain such heinous crimes from another, from someone claiming to be religious. That's not religion. Well, it's not a religion I'm going to practice. And those same, Christians here, especially the TPUSA people, they want a United States, a country that their ancestors came here, killed off the natives or enslaved them, brought in African slaves and have been abusing them for over 400 years. They want an all-white country here in the United States, a country where there are still indigenous people like myself whose ancestors have been here long before they ever showed up, at least 20,000 years. We've been here. And they're using their religion that they made up, a pagan religion, to kill off the indigenous people and the Africans who they brought here, who came here or were brought here as slaves, and other Black and brown people. That's what they're doing. They're using it. So this is their holiday, Christ Mass. There was no, so when they were putting together when Christ was born, it didn't matter to them. He's not their savior, so they picked December the 25th and put it on their calendar. So there was no Gregorian calendar or Julian calendar when Christ was born. That's not the calendar that was, you have to go and look at the Ethiopian calendar or the calendars that were being used by the indigenous people in the region where he was born, like the Egyptians. The Egyptians were in that region. He was a dark-skinned man. His mother was a dark-skinned woman, and his name was Yeshua. And he was not born on December the 25th. That's when Santa Claus was born, December the 25th, their made-up religion. Christ Mass. The Greeks gave him that name long after he was crucified by the Romans. Can you all handle the truth? Let's see. Let's see what kind of discussion comes out of my sharing this. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that call themselves Christians. And I'm not faulting you, because we've been brainwashed into doing that. I was told that growing up myself. Oh, we're Christians. We're holiness. We're whatever. But they called him Jesus Christ. They didn't call him Yeshua, which is his name. So let's think about that. And it's something to mull over during the holidays. And instead of us just rushing out shopping, other than for food, because everybody needs food, let's rush out and, be a part of our communities, be a part of families, sit with our families and talk and get to know each other. That is what Christ would have us do. So I just wanted to say that, and we've got more important things to do than to make this United States rich by going out and shopping during Christ Mass, and giving each other gifts. The best gift to give is your time, your caring, your love, and your presence. And with that, I will close, and thank you for being here. Thank you all for subscribing, for being loyal followers of my YouTube channel. Not of me, because you always question, even when you think somebody's right. Hey, question. That's what I was told growing up. Don't just take it at face value. Question, do your own research. And, in this brief time I've been talking, all I can do is, put out my opinion and what I believe. So, and I think that around this time of year, we should be talking like this. We should be making sure that we are honoring the Most High, that we are honoring Creator by, if you believe that He is, that He came, that Yeshua was here, then look at the purpose of what He said when He was here. And what He said was not anything about what is going on now under DJT, who wants to ethnically cleanse the United States and replace this country and make this country an all-white country. And I'm sure that they will leave some brown people here to do the heavy lifting, to do the labor, And so they're running out the Mexicans and everybody else, the Haitians and everybody else. So who do you think the brown people are that they think is going to be their slaves and work and do the labor and the heavy lifting and waiting on them? Because if they think that it's going to be us, folks, they got another think coming. Be well, everyone.